morning, everybody. I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule to come and learn about LG's commercial products. We do have a lot to cover today, so I ask you guys if you have any questions, just post them in the questions box. We'll take as much time as needed after the webinar to answer all your questions. Today, we are actually joined by Daryl Cease from LG. Daryl, are you there?
I'm here, Chris. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, without further ado, I will let you roll into stuff that you got coming from LG Commercial.
Yes, well, thanks, Chris, and thanks, Capital, for hosting this. We do have a lot to talk about, but we also like questions and input and suggestions. But let's go ahead and get started. My name's Daryl. I've been with LG for about 10 years, and I'm on the commercial side of the business. And that means the B2B solutions, commercial displays, and all that goes along with it. So let's jump right into it here. Hopefully everyone can see my screen at this point. Let's just touch for a few seconds, excuse me, on the total business available in signage, in the digital signage market. They say it's going to reach around 20 billion by 2027. So that's important for all of us to know. And even the impact of COVID these days is making an impact on our business. There's a couple different requests, a couple different trends that we're starting to see. So we're going to touch on that a little bit as well, because the business is changing, and it's interesting to see what's happening out there in the marketplace. First of all, what does LG bring to the table? I would say LG is one of the broadest lines out there among some of the big top brand display companies. We offer OLED displays, OLED video walls, certainly wayfinding touchscreen displays. Our bread and butter would be our commercial digital signage TVs. We also have ultra stretch, direct view LED, transparent displays, a number of things you see listed there and pictured there. And we're going to touch on some of these. And here's a couple real-time examples of what we're doing, whether it's high bright there in the window or quick serve restaurant, drive-through, outdoor signage, all that's available through LG. And we try to make it easy for you and offer a variety of options and products. But why LG anyway? Let's just drill down a little bit. What makes us different? What's some exclusive technologies in the world of LG? I mentioned I started 10 years ago with LG, and the one thing they started mentioning right away and hammering home is our IPS displays and our IPS technology. What does all that mean? Well, LG uses a display technology called IPS, which is in-plane switching, and we're not going to get into all the details of IPS other than to say there are three distinct performance markers that make it a better display. First of all, there on the screen, you can see no blackening defect. So if a bright image, whether it's natural light or track lighting or something coming in, hits that display, there'll be no blackening defect. Other brands that don't have IPS will actually turn darker over time. We don't have to worry about that with IPS. Another thing is true wide angle viewing up to 178 degrees. So if you're off angle or off axis, if you're not dead center of that display and you're starting to get off axis, IPS performs better off axis viewing. And also panel stability. It's actually a better built display. And this IPS is actually offered on our entire lineup. So IPS is at our core, and it's been at our core, and it continues to be in our lineup. We know the world has changed this year. We all know that. That's nothing new. And we're offering real-world solutions. This is kind of a funny picture that you see here. In the foreground, you see people lined up with their masks and getting checked in. It's funny, I've already had experience with this twice. About a month ago when I checked my son into college, I was helping him move the stuff into the dorms. Before I could help, well, I had to walk in front of a display that looked similar to this and get my temperature checked. It was an automated process. Once I got the green light, I could proceed and help moving my son in on campus. Behind there, you see a different type of scene, which is like a training room or classroom with an interactive screen. All these things are LG solutions, and all these things are happening now. Here's an example of something that we're not going to look at too closely, but just to give you an idea of where the industry is heading. This is in cooperation with Peerless AV. Of course, that's the mount company that's available at Capitol as well. And this uses a 32-inch display. There's a scanner up on top there with a company called FLIR that does the temperature check. There's also a place for hand sanitizer on the right and some other things. This is not on the market quite yet, but these are things we're working on and things that are going to be coming out because there's demand for it. So that just gives you a little idea of where some of the products are heading. Well, but before we get into everything, it's important to make a distinction between commercial displays and consumer displays. Do you ever have a customer give you a call and say, what's the cheapest thing you've got? I need a display, I need something cheap. Be careful when they start out that way, because in many cases, they're looking for consumer grade or something off the shelf at a price point from Walmart or Best Buy or online. And I just want to draw out some distinctions between consumer and commercial TVs or commercial monitors. And there's a lot on this screen going on, but if you just focus on the 4 arrows there in the center, as we compare with the first column on consumer TVs versus commercial TVs, first of all, on-site service. If it's in a public display area, LG is fully covered for on-site service, on-site support from LG. You cannot get that with consumer TVs. Also, next one down, remote management interface. What's all that mean? All of our displays include RS-232 control and RS-232 jacks on the back. So if you're using Crestron, AMX, or other devices, we're ready to go on our entire lineup with that type of interface. Of course, you can't do that on a consumer TV. Next one down, remote and panel button lockout. You can set up that display so that once you hit those buttons will be disabled so that no one changes the channel, turns it on and off. That can only be done through the remote at that point. That's fully programmable on a commercial display. Can't find that on a consumer TV. And then lastly, commercial phone support. Our call center's down in Huntsville, Alabama. You get to talk to a live person about that application or that display, what's going on. That's not the case with consumer TV. So just wanted to draw that out a little bit to bring that to your attention. Wi-Fi, yes or no? This is kind of a strange screen, and I'll talk about it a minute. Most of our displays have built-in Wi-Fi. That's nothing new. We've had it for the past few years. That allows for things like screen sharing and some other important features, Wi-Fi connectivity. But since there's so much connectivity these days, it's actually become a security issue, specifically with our partners and customers on the government side, military side, even local government. They don't want Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi has become important for home learning and work from home and all of that, but there's quite a few end users that don't want Wi-Fi. Well, in the past, we would actually have to make a service call to disable Wi-Fi, actually remove the Wi-Fi card from our displays until now. Now we do have an option with no Wi-Fi built in, and that's where we're going to start with our lineup. So we have a new series to talk about today, which just started shipping this month. That's the LG US340C Series. Now, this is our entry-level, least expensive commercial-grade TV series. We start in 43-inch, and you can see the different size ranges there. We go on up through 86-inch. So about 6 different sizes to meet whatever the customer is looking for. And there you can see a number of features that we offer on this series. Again, US340C Series. The C on the end of the model number there indicates commercial TV. What are some of those features? Well, it's high picture quality. They're all UHD, 4K, or UHD built in, ready to go. No more 1080p in this lineup. Customizable screen, that allows us to put a company image, a corporate logo, whatever, on that welcome screen. So even if we're showing something through HDMI or another input and that goes down for whatever reason and there's no signal there, it will switch back to this customizable screen, so there's at least something coming up on the screen and you don't have that awkward blank screen. I mentioned the RS-232 a few slides ago. This series is also compatible with most AV control systems, including Crestron and others. So those codes are already built into the display, even in our entry-level model here. And also USB auto playback. Why would we need that? Well, if you're setting up basic digital signage and you want it to scroll through several images, several pictures that are set up for signage, you can load those images onto a USB thumb drive and then through the remote, program that to go through the images all through the USB thumb drive. So we have USB auto playback, very easy to use. Now, so far I talked about the non-Wi-Fi model, the US340 series. Well, if you want the Wi-Fi version of it with wireless built-in, that would be the UT640S series that you see on your screen. Some of you are already familiar with this because we've had this in our lineup for about a year now. This does continue into the fall, starting at 43-inch and going on up through 86-inch. And some of this, you're already familiar with the features. Certainly UHD, as far as the resolution, SuperSign, USB cloning, and USB management built in. And you can see some of the other features there. The point of this slide is that this current series does continue through the balance of the year. And then this series also includes what's called SuperSign Simple Editor. Simple Editor is a downloadable software that allows you to have up to about 120 built-in pre-made templates, similar to what you see on the screen here. And then once you have those templates, you can edit that screen for your own content, your own messaging, your own digital signage. And that's called Simple Editor. There's no charge for this. This is from LG on our SuperSign TVs and only on our TVs, not on our monitor series. So that's one feature built into the 640S series. And here's a new series once again, the UL3G series. This is what we called affordable entry signage. This is not TV. The first two models were our TV series, which means obviously they would have a TV tuner and speakers. This is our entry-level monitor series. Wi-Fi built in, of course, UHD, IPS, 350 nits brightness, which is important. There's some other brands out there that we compete with that you'll notice are at 250 or maybe 300. This starts at 350, which is good. Pretty simple UI from the remote on screen from what you can see there. The other important feature, first time we're going to talk about it here in this lineup, is portrait mode capable. Might be a little hard to see there in the lower right hand side, but this is designed for landscape mode or upright in portrait mode. I got a call or an email about a month ago, I think, and I think it was someone from Capital. They said, hey, we sold some displays to a church about a year ago. They were the TV series, and they're having some problems with it. Well, what's wrong? Well, they put them in portrait mode, and now they have some issues. Well, I'm not surprised because the TV series is not designed to go in portrait mode, and you will have problems with it. If you want to put something in portrait mode in the display world, it has to be portrait mode capable. The new UL3G series will give you portrait mode compatibility. Now with that, let's do kind of a quick recap of the three series. And by the way, these three models will be the bulk of our business between now and the balance of the year. All three are currently shipping. If you glance down there, the UT640S series continues. The only one that's going to drop out there will be the 43-inch, but the 49 through 86-inch will continue. There's that new one again there in the middle, the UL3G, with the 50-inch size on up through 86. And if you look at the center of the screen, we offer 3.6 gigabyte of internal storage. Why is that important? Well, a few slides ago, I mentioned USB for content and for images. On the UL3G series, you can actually load those images onto the internal memory, and that's where you can store that memory versus a USB stick. We also offer WebOS on this model. This is the first model with WebOS for back-end programs. And then again, portrait mode capable, except for the 86-inch. All the other models listed there are portrait ready. And then the US340C Series, the third one in the column there, simply is the non-Wi-Fi version. Excuse me. Well, where do we go from there? Well, if you're looking for even more features and step-up models, we have the SM5KE series. Now, this series is not UHD. This is 1080p. 1080p is starting to go away quickly, but we still offer 22-inch on up through 55-inch in 1080p. Still is portrait and landscape capable. Now we're 24/7 rated, so it has reliable operation, even running all day long, every day. That's the SM5KE series, speakers built in. We see a lot of this in quick serve restaurants, including McDonald's and Starbucks. They're currently partners of ours using this series. Well, if we go up just one notch, that's the UH series. What does U indicate? Ultra HD or UHD or 4K. Now this is in 43-inch on up through 98-inch. And we won't go through all the features here, but this is our top end series. H indicating high end. So UHD high end, 5 indicates typically 500 nits. And you have a pretty strong feature pack here, even including things like multi-screen, so that if you have a 75, 86, 98-inch, you can drive multiple content streams into it through the picture-in-picture or picture-beside picture. You can actually split that screen up into 2 different inputs at the same time. Well, what about video walls? LG started bundles several years ago. Video walls are a different category because now we're stitching together displays, as you can see here, in 2x2 or 3x3. How do we make that easy? Well, we do that through our bundles. The first thing we talk about in video walls is the bezel spec. LG has the most narrow bezel spec in the industry. We kind of offer a good, better, best scenario, even down to 0.88 millimeters. Well, with the bundles, as you can see here, it includes everything you need, whether it's a 2x2 or a 3x3, which that's the most popular configuration for any video wall. It includes the Peerless wall mount. It also includes all the cables you need included in the box. There's nothing additional to purchase here. And typically, this, if it's a 3x3, would include on-site calibration from LG on the 3x3. And also, it includes a stronger price point since you're purchasing these as a bundle, available in 49-inch and in 55-inch. Now, the lower left there is a little misleading. You see a 3x4 configuration. We don't have a bundle available in 3x4, but we will continue with Peerless in a 3x3 and a 2x2. The other tool we have for you is our video wall configurator. So now, if you want to figure out, well, I have a certain space I want to fill, what's going to be the spacing requirements, the power requirements, what's LG going to suggest? You can go to our video wall configurator and put in all those specs, 49-inch, 55-inch, and it will kind of do the math and do the rest and even show you what it looks like on the wall. And we'll be able to send some of this information out so that you have that as well. Well, what if we want to go larger? I mean, way, way larger. Well, LG has been in the direct view or DV LED signage business. This is where we're scaling very large indoor or outdoor and even curved. And this is what you would see driving down the highway and you see the billboards, or indoors at a convention center or conference center. That's direct view LED. You may be familiar or heard of brands like Watchtower, Watchfire, Daktronics. This is the LG solution. How do we make that easy? Well, We can bring this out in a number of different series depending on the pitch resolution you're looking for and the size requirement, the brightness requirement. There's quite a bit of engineering, excuse me, engineering behind this, and we want to make it easy. One way to make it easy is to offer 130-inch all-in-one. Speaking of bundles, this is somewhat of a bundle because it's 130-inch, has built-in speakers, which is interesting, and is put together through smaller modules, as you can see in the bottom of the screen there. You know, most brands go on up to about 98-inch in one display. You can make them larger than that. The problem you run into is getting it through doorways and actually shipping the thing. So if you need to go beyond 98-inch to 130-inch or larger, you need to go to direct view LED. So LG has introduced 130-inch, HDR10, built-in speakers, as I mentioned, compatible with AV control systems. It really includes everything right out of the box, including LG support on site during the installation. If you're looking for this type of product, Capital can certainly provide you with pricing and options, and be looking for more information on this. And this has been shipping, by the way. This is a current model ready to go, and it's also been deployed out there. So if you need some real-time examples, we can provide that for you. We give you the tools. So we're going to talk briefly about the LG regional team, some LG programs, and the LG bid desk. This is all available through Capital Sales. And the bid desk is, of course, for any opportunities with multiple quantities where you want to register that for better pricing. And we'd be glad to get that pricing to you through Capital. Here's the representation of the enterprise or regional team from LG. Most of you are probably in that purple shaded area is my guess. So the LG local rep or regional rep or enterprise rep would be George Vlach. Excuse me. George is based out of the Chicago area. He's very familiar with your territory. And this team comes in when you're working with a specific opportunity or reseller and you need a little bit of extra support to get pricing, to get maybe a little bit of hand holding on that call, especially if it's a larger opportunity. George can get involved. Or if you're down in Texas, that would be Lauren Macy, or whatever part of the country you're in to work with that opportunity. That's where this team can provide an extra level of support. What else do we have? Some of you may not be familiar, but we actually have a 3% GEM program. GEM stands for government, education, military. It also can represent house of worship, churches, and nonprofit. That 3% would apply to pretty much all of our product categories except for things like accessories and warranties. And it's also stackable with rebate. So if we have a $100 rebate out there, you can still use the $100 rebate and collect your 3% discount with the GEM program under this. Again, if it's registered through our bid desk, this would not apply, but this would apply for smaller quantities where it's not going through the bid desk. And with that, I think it takes us to the Q&A time, and I'll hand it back over to Chris.
Thanks, Daryl. Right now now's the time, guys. If you have any questions, just post them in the questions box. I don't see any questions yet that have came in. I also checked the chat window. I don't see anything. We did cover a lot today, guys. A lot of new models, direct view LED. You know, you're hearing more and more about it. You're seeing it out there, and I don't know if this may be the first time you really heard it from LG. Some really cool options there, and the other thing is the ultra thin bezels from the video walls. We're getting a lot of questions on video walls through Capital and a lot of opportunities now. We did have a question come in, available of MRK options, or MKR options, I'm sorry. Oh,
could you repeat that, Chris?
M5K, sorry. Available of MK5 or M5K options.
I'm not sure what that is. Can you help me out?
Mark, can you, yeah, can you explain more, Mark, what you're looking for? As we wait, oh, stock and shipping availability of the MK5.
Okay, yep. That series, the SM5KE, in 49 inch, that's going to be going end of life. And the 55 and 65s are available. I believe that's this series here. The question's asking about this series. This is still current, but in 49 inch, it will be going end of life. We are a little tight on 32 inch, but they're coming back in, and 55, I believe we do have in stock as of now. So if there's a specific back order or opportunity, please circle back with me offline and I'll get you some answers on specific model sizes.
Perfect. So we'll follow up that offline as well to go over those stock quantities and availabilities. Any other questions, guys? You know, I do know how it goes. As soon as we get off the phone, there may be a question rolls in a day, next week. You know, if that happens, feel free to reach out to LG, to Daryl, to your account manager at Capital Sales, myself. We all love hearing from you, and would love to chat about the projects you have.
And Chris, if you see no additional questions in your box there, we can probably conclude. Is that correct?
That is correct. I don't see any questions. So Mark, on the stock quantity availability, feel free to reach out to Capital. We can definitely get you those answers, whatever you're looking for. And with that, Daryl, I want to thank you for taking your time.
And Chris, thank you for hosting. Thank you everyone for joining. And again, thank you for your support, and any additional questions on LG, let us know. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you.